Hello everybody, welcome back to another Luck of the Draw podcast. I'm your host, Robbie, and today I'm going to be talking about mulligans in cEDH. I'm going to do a couple test hands, a couple mulligans over on my Mox field of 3 decks. 2 decks I have RIL, and then 1 deck that I've spent years working on as kind of like a fringe mono blue deck that I've never really been able to put together in real life, but I do keep it on the back burner as an option to kind of put together because I really like the deck and I've put a lot of time into it. I've spent a lot of time doing test hands and online games and this and that, and so it's definitely a deck I have a lot of knowledge on, so I'm very excited to get into it. But before we do that, if you want to be part of any of the video making, being on the podcast with me, or being part of the gameplays, go down to the Discord in the description. And if you like content like this based around cEDH, you can like and subscribe. That tells me and all the other people that put effort into making these videos, either editing or being part of the gameplay and podcasts, that you like this content and we can continue to make it for you for the people who enjoy it. So without further ado, we're going to be looking at the main deck that I've been playing the most. You've seen it, I believe, twice now on the channel if you've watched the past 2 gameplays. It's Brigid, Glacian's Heart. It's my Selesnya, Guy's Cradle, creature combo deck that I've been actually really liking lately. I've been about 12 games in. I have 2 wins, 8 losses, and 2 ties. For my first kind of 20 games of cEDH, because I'm pretty new to cEDH, and me playing a fringe deck, I don't think that's a horrible record. I mean, yes, 8 losses is a lot. I had like 6 losses in a row before I got my first wins. So my first out starting record was like 1-6, and I felt like it was really bad. But I just kept working on the deck, I made iterations to it, and I finally landed on what I've called version 3 that has a lot of protection, a lot of on-the-stack interaction, because I think cEDH right now, you got a mulligan to where you can be on the stack and try to work your way around a stack. And on top of that, it also just has the most consistent combos that I've been able to do turn after turn and present turn after turn whenever it's my turn or whenever I feel like it's best to put a win on top of the stack. So the first hand that we're going to be looking at here, I already have a 7 up here in Mox Field. We have Mox Diamond, Guy's Cradle, Gemstone Cavern, Soul Ring, Path to Exile, Recruitment Officer, and Myrel, Shield of Argive. I think this hand is pretty decent. It's really, really close. The only thing that's missing is a tutor. It's hard to come by tutors outside of like just creature tutors, but I mean this has mana. This has tons of mana. I think I would probably pitch with the Gemstone being in my hand, I probably would have to pitch the Myrel, the Path to Exile, one of my 2 pieces of interaction. You probably would want to go Guy's Cradle on turn 1 with the Gemstone Caverns, tap Gemstone Caverns for a white and play the Recruitment Officer, and then tap for the green of Guy's Cradle. Actually, no, you can't do that. Don't listen to me. You would play Soul Ring turn 1, and then Recruitment Officer turn 2, depending on what you draw. I mean, this one's really, really close, but I think just the fact that it's really kind of clunky with the Gemstone and the inconsistent kind of creatures in your hand and having 2 pieces of interaction when you really only just want 1 in your starting hand, I think it's just going to be a ship. So, second hand, looking at it now, we have Mox Diamond, can't get away from that one. City Traders, Walking Ballista, Growing Rights of Iklimoc, Recruitment Officer, Delighted Halfling, and Elvish Spirit Guide. This hand is a little bit better. I like how it has some ramp in Mox Diamond, City Traders, the Delighted Halfling, and Elvish Spirit Guide. It has a combo piece in Recruitment Officer, or just like a value piece to go find your smaller creatures. Growing Rights of Iklimoc to find more creatures and more mana, and then another combo piece in Walking Ballista. I think I would keep this. I think I would go probably City Traders into pitch Elvish Spirit Guide to play Delighted Halfling, and then maybe turn 2 Commander, depending on what we draw, play Growing Rights of Iklimoc as well. This one's definitely also a little bit slower, but it does get out consistent ramp pieces consistently and sets up board pretty well. I would definitely keep this one. Let's look at another one. Alright, in our next 7 we have Ancient Tomb, Flooded Strand, Solitude, Veil of Summer, Badgermole Cub, Elvish Spirit Guide, and Cutzel. This one's also really, really close. Solitude is one of the newest things I've added to the deck because I realized being able to search for it as a creature, and then it being an on the stack interaction like a Path to Exile basically is really nice. Veil of Summer, again, another piece of interaction that's really nice. Badgermole Cub, Elvish Spirit Guide for ramp, and then Cudgel for more protection. I think there's just too much protection in this hand. You really only want like one piece, that being a Solitude or Veil of Summer, or the Cudgel. You just want one of those. If either of those was like a mana dork or like a creature tutor, this might have been a little more acceptable. Like if Solitude was like the harmonized creature tutor. I always blank on its name. Nature's Rhythm. If that was like a Nature's Rhythm, and then the other one was like an Arbor Elf, because we can Flooded Strand for a Savannah. This would be a great hand. I probably would keep that. So I'd probably, as you're noticing, my ideal hand is 2 lands, a ramp piece, either Elvish Spirit Guide or Mana Dork, maybe 2 ramp pieces, a protection, and then like a creature tutor. Because usually your ramp that you use to find a creature tutor just allows you to win the game, and then you have extra protection to protect it. So ideally you want 2 creature tutors depending on what creatures you already have in hand, but I would probably ship this. I would go to a second 7. In the second one we have Ancient Tomb, Horizon Canopy, Angel's Grace, Path to Exile, Rebuff the Wicked, Landwar Elves, and Formidable Speaker. This one, like I said, this one has a lot of interaction, which is good. I mean, I'm not saying that, like, when I say in those last couple of hands that we have too much interaction isn't bad. I do like having a lot of interaction in my hand, but I only just want like 1 or 2 pieces, because you only really need to deal with 1 or 2 things, because a lot of your combo is creature tutors. If your opponent has counterspells in hand, it's mostly for non-creatures. So a lot of what you have, you really only need like 1 of. But I do actually kind of like this hand. You can get a Formidable Speaker turn 2 while holding up like a Path to Exile or an Angel's Trace to stop like a Kinnan, or stop like a on the stack interaction or an on the stack win from any other player. So I would probably go Horizon Canopy, turn 1 Landwar, lose a life, play Ancient Tomb, lose 3, play a Formidable Speaker, probably discard depending on what we draw or one of our interaction pieces, go find probably like a draw engine, like an Esper Sentinel, and then turn 3 play Bird Grid with the Esper Sentinel, draw a few cards, and then by turn 4 be able to flip it, untap it a few times, make a bunch of mana, and hopefully by then with some draw engines we have some sort of combo piece that we can kind of go to. So I'm going to look at one more 7 here, and then we're going to go over to one of my other main decks I've been playing. It's Rogside. We're going to go over to Dylan from Play to Win's deck list. It's a 1-for-1 copy of his deck list. And if you're wondering why I'm playing Rogside, if you watched the last podcast, I explained that I like to have 2 opposite colored decks. The opposite of Selesnya is black, red, and blue, so I put together a Rogside list to just kind of figure out the other side of the format a little bit. So I did a 1-for-1 copy. I think I'm only like 1, maybe 2 cards off. I think it's mostly a 1-for-1 copy. They're very, very similar, but I don't have the deck list built yet, so we're gonna go look over at his deck list after this 7. So this next 7, we have a Bountiful Promenade, Cavern of Souls, Vexing Bauble, Water Tribe Rallier, Grand Abolisher, Allosaur Shepherd, and Yashan the Wanderer Bard. This one's just kind of slow. Our 1-drop is protection-ish and doesn't really gain us a lot of mana. Or we could go Vexing Bauble, which was also kind of like a counter protection, but it isn't really great. Depending on what we draw, we might not even draw our 3rd land to get out our 2-drops. Not our 2-drops, our 3-drop that needs a whole turn cycle to get out the other 1-drops. I just find this hand to be a little too slow. While it is kind of appealing, I think we just need 1 more land in this hand. Maybe to get one of get rid of a Vexing Bauble or an Allosaur Shepherd, and I think it just needs to be a little bit faster. So our second 7 here is Wooded Foothills, Lotus Petal of Silence, Arctos of Ogma, Allosaur Shepherd, Badgermole Cub, Blightglass Gearhulk. Yeah, this one's pretty good. I don't know if I would keep it. I like Blightglass Gearhulk because that's just a win condition depending on how you draw. You can definitely go Wooded Foothills, Lotus Petal, turn 1 Badgermole Cub to make the Savannah that we fetch a land that taps for 2 mana, but then depending on what we draw, I don't want to hit the draw button and have like hypotheticals, but if we draw a land, then we're great, but if we don't, then we're kind of in backup mode. We also could just go Wooded Foothills, Lotus Petal, hold up Archivist of Ogma for like a Sisay, depending on if we're playing like Sisay in this pod, or hold up for someone else's fetch land and try to draw a few cards. This one, it's kind of appealing. Like I said, in my opening hand, I really ideally want ramp and a tutor. This does have a tutor, but it is one of the more like tutors. I think I would keep this just on the fact that we have ways to protect our board and our green creatures. Silence for anybody else's turn. A draw, like in quotations, draw engine, because Artifice Ogling, like, yes, it's a draw engine, but like they can kind of play around it a little bit. And then we have Rampant Badgermal Cub. I think we would keep this. This is a pretty decent hand. It has everything I'm kind of looking for. So, yeah. But with that said, I'm gonna go over to Dylan from Play to Win's deck list and take a look at a couple of test hands with his Rogsai list, because it is a 1-for-1 recreation of my Rogsai list. So here we go. So in our first opening 7 with Rogsai, we have Verdant Catacombs, Command Tower, Volcanic Island, Chrome Mox, Diabolic Intent, Yawgmoth's Will, and Underworld Breach. This one's really close. We have Chrome Mox to pitch Yawgmoth's Will and play Command Tower, which gives us turn 1 Diabolic Intent, sacrificing Rograk. And then we have Underworld Breach turn 2 with the card that we sacrifice. I don't know what you would get. I think maybe the card that you would tutor for would be probably Wheel of Fortune, because we could do turn 2 Wheel. That doesn't seem bad, but also doesn't seem good. I mean, wheels are what you want to be doing in Rogside, but you're putting Underworld Breach into your yard. I think I just want a little more action. Like, there's nothing much to do. Like, Underworld Breach isn't going to be turned on, except if we get, like, the perfect draw and we get, like, the perfect tutor. Pitching Yawgmoth's Will isn't the best, because that is one of our only graveyard incursions outside of Underworld Breach that sets up a win. And 3 lands is also, I feel like, a little too much. You only really want, like, 1 or 2, and then you want a ramp piece, just like Chrome Mox, or, like, or a Dark Ritual, which sets you up perfectly. You also could definitely go turn 2 Necropotence out of this, but again, that doesn't really, I mean, that kind of gets you somewhere, but it's also, you have no protection in this hand. So I'm going to shift this, go down to second 7. Second 7, we got Chrome Mox, Arid Mesa, Defense Grid, Burgi, Wishclaw Talisman, Grim Tutor, and Pyroblast. I don't see anything out of this hand. You have Tutor and Wishclaw and Grim Tutor, but very little ramp outside of Chrome Mox, and just kind of nowhere to really go. I mean, I guess you technically could find something from Wishclaw, depending on, I guess, like, your game plan would be Chrome Mox, pitch Grim Tutor, turn 1 Wishclaw, and then play Rograk, and then turn 2, what are you really gonna do? I mean, if you don't draw a land, and you're only playing, like, what, 23, so I'm gonna go down to 6 on this one. On 6, we got Arid Mesa, Arcane Signet, Vampiric Tutor, Pact Negation, Daze, First Guardianship, Rite of Flame. This one's appealing. I mean, not really, but it's just like the 3 pieces of interaction is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, you could go turn 1 Arcane Signet out of this into a Vampiric Tutor, which gets you what's 2 mana that's gonna be valuable. You can't do Breach. There's no way to do a Breach line out of this. You can't set up a Ristic Study. Can't set up anything really. So I think this one's just gonna have to go down to 5. So your 5 is City of Brass, Scalding Tarn, Lotus Petal, Grinding Station, Talisman of Dominance, Snap, Jessica's Will. Yeah, this is probably a keep. You go Scalding Tarn, Lotus Petal. No, you go City of Brass because you want to be able to draw a land for your next turn. No, well, depends, I guess. Either way, you're getting out of turn 2's Jessica's Will. So what I would do is I would go City of Brass, Lotus Petal, turn 1 Talisman of Dominance, play the Scalding Tarn, Jessica's Will, get a bunch of red mana. I would guess so. Your cards that you would ideally put back are Grinding Station, because you really, I mean, unless you get the perfect hit for a Breach line at a Grinding Station, but you put Grinding Station back in, and then Snap is usually like a ritual, because you usually can reduce its cost or untap a 2 or more land. So I would put those 2 back, and I would just try to set up a turn 2 Jessica's Will. That seems like the most effective. Let's look at another 7. First 7, we got Blue Delta, Gemstone Cavern, Gemstone Mine, Grinding Station, Calling the Weak, Yawgmoth's Will, Deflecting Swat. Nowhere to go. Instant pitch. Ottawara, Defense Grid, Talisman of Indulgence, Grinding Station, Mystic Emerald, Power Blast, Rite of Flame. You could set up nothing. Turn 1 Mystic Emerald is okay, but then like the rest of your hand is kind of dookie. Not really much you can do. I mean, instant ship. There's not much to do in this one. Rite of Flame is appealing, but you got no red mana, and the only thing you can do is Mystic Emerald draw. So 6, we have no lands, but Mana Vault, Vexing Bauble, Arcane Signet, Demonic Consultation, Dark Ritual, Chain of Vapor, Valley Flood Caller. Yeah, no, that's an instant. That's an instant. No lands. City Traders, Paradise Mantle, Bloodstained Mire, Talisman of Dominance, an Offer Can Refuse, Lighter Frame, Hexing Sculpture. Bunch of mana, nowhere to go. Trying to think. I mean, it's a bunch of mana. If you draw something good, like a tutor, it's okay. Going to the 4 is kind of risky. But I think I probably would keep this because it's a bunch of mana, and I think I would like to just have a bunch of mana and hope that we draw something good. But I'm going to go down to 4 just to see. Verdant Catacombs, Rain of Field, Demonic Consultation, Mystical Tutor, Daze, Snap, Fierce Guardianship. This is keepable. I would keep Verdant, Demonic Consultation, Mystical Tutor, Fierce, and Snap. No, it's a 4. Crap. Yeah, Fierce, Mystical Tutor, Demonic Consultation, Verdant, and Fetch for an Underground Sea. Put back Snap, Daze, and Rain of Fill for your 4. And then your draw would be Badlands. That's not bad. You can set up Mystical Tutor for Demonic Tutor, and you'll find Ristic Study, depending on how you play your lands or are able to get mana out. This wasn't a great 7, but I'm gonna take a look at one more, and we're gonna go over to the mono blue deck and see what it's got to bring for us today. Chrome Box, Ancient Tomb, Mox Opal, Necropotent, Daze, Valley Flood Color, Mindbreak Trap. That's pretty close. Too much colorless mana with the Ancient Tomb off Necropotent. So that was like a basic land. This would be a little bit closer, but I would probably put this back. Lands of Diamond, Bloodstained Mire, Arid Mesa, Wishclaw, Mental Misstep, Rite of Flame, Wheel of Fortune. This one's really good, actually. You can go turn 2 Wheel with protection with the Mental Misstep, or you can go turn 2 Wishclaw, Lion's Eye Diamond, search with it, find something, like a breach, and set up something. This is definitely a keepable hand. It just depends on what you draw. I mean, I'm trying to resist myself from just seeing the future, but because realistically, when you draw your hands, you have to play around what you have to draw. So you could definitely set up turn 2 Wheel of Fortune. You can definitely set up a breach line with Lion's Eye Diamond and Wishclaw Talisman, which is probably what I would do, actually. Hold on. You could do, what you do is Bloodstained Mire, just as turn 1, fetch, get your land. Turn 2, Arid Mesa, fetch, play Rite of Flame for 2 red, use a black with a Bloodstained Mire and the other land or one of your red to play Wishclaw, play Lion's Eye Diamond, sacrifice it, add 3 mana, activate your Wishclaw Talisman, use a red, and you probably would sacrifice your Lion's Eye Diamond for 3 blacks. So use a red and a black to cast the Underworld Bridge that you tutor for, exile Bloodstained Mire, Arid Mesa, and Mental Misstep from your graveyard to play Wheel of Fortune to draw a new 7, and then you're right back in the game with a Breach, Lion's Eye Diamond, and everything else. So you could definitely go for a turn 2 win here. Definitely interesting. Yeah, that's definitely a keep. Let's go over to my mono blue list now, actually. That was so bad of a transition. Let's just go over the mono blue deck. Alright, so the mono blue deck that we have here is Jacob Hawken. If you don't know what it does, is a 1 and a blue. I think it's a 1/1. I don't have it pulled up, but it'll be on the screen. You can tap it to draw a card and then exile a card from your hand, and then you can pay 6 mana to flip over Jacob Hawken, and then you can play cards that you exiled with him for free, once each turn. So like an ideal hand that you would want here is a piece of ramp because you want to hit your 6 mana. You want like a tutor to search out like a high-powered instant or sorcery, or like an artifact to do some like untapping lines. As you see, we have a Mana Vault Key and a Mind Over Matter. So depending on the pod, this could be keepable. Like I said, you want to have like a tutor to find like a broken instant sorcery or an artifact, which we have. We have Crystal Vein for a little bit of ramp. I mean, I would consider that ramp. It adds you 2 colorless mana. I think this is just a little too mad. There's no real game plan, and there's nothing really to do with it. I would go to a second 7. Mox Diamond, Mystery Village, City Traders, Tezzeret, Mystical Tutor, Wanchitong, Forceville. Yeah, no, this is definitely a keep. Play Mox Diamond, pitch Misdrive, play City Traders, turn 1 Tezzeret, Tutor, Mana Vault, untap. Play your Jacob Hodkin. Actually, what would you get with Tezzeret? Because you already have the City Traders, Mox Diamond. You have a Mystical Tutor to search out something. You definitely want to get like a Soul Ring or a Mana Vault off it. You don't want to get like a Mox off it because then you waste colors. I mean, actually, you definitely could. You could also just go turn 1 Jacob Hawken and start drawing a few cards as well. Or hold up a Wanshi, depending on if you get the draw. I mean, ideally you just want to go Mox Diamond, pitch Misdrive, because if you play Mox Diamond, pitch City Traders, then you pitch the Misdrive, or then you play the Misdrive, you have a tapped land, you only have 1 land available. So I would go turn 1 Tezzeret, Tutor for a Mana Vault, and then turn 2 try to play Jacob Hodkin, or depending on if we draw a land, try to flash out a Wanchitong or Tutor and try to find a little bit of interaction. Not interaction, a combo piece to try to win the game. Let's take a look at a second 7 here. So or not like a second 7, but like our second set of our hands here. We have Academy Ruins, War Room, Island, Mental Misstep, High Tide, Wanchitong, Thassa's Oracle. No game plan, no big splashy spells to really flash in, and also we have no double blue to play our Wanchitong, so we're going to ship it go to the actual second 7 of this hand. Crystal Vein, Prismatic Vista, Moonsilver Key, Grim Monolith, Isochron Scepter, Copy Artifact, Brain Freeze. This one's also really, really good. Crystal Vein, sacrifice for 2 blue, play Grim Monolith, tap the, you would just go Crystal Vein, sacrifice 2 blue, play Grim Monolith. Turn 2, Prismatic Vista, go get an island, play Copy Artifact, copying the Grim Monolith, so you have 6 colorless mana by tapping the Grim Monolith. So you have 2 floating colorless, and you copy the Grim Monolith to make 3 more. You have Moonsilver Key, which finds you probably a mana fixer, like a Mox Opal, because you're gonna have artifacts, more than 3 artifacts in play, which then you can get out Jacob Hawken and then Isochron Scepter, pitching probably the Brain Freeze to try to set up a win line through that, because Brain Freeze, being able to cast that infinite times allows you to mill all of your opponents. So yeah, this is definitely your keepable 7. Let's look at another one, another 7 here, and then we'll be done. So Lotus Petal, Mox Opal, Mystical Tutor, Merchant Scroll, Time Twister, Force Negation, Mind Over Matter. Maybe this one's really, really close. Just no land. If we had a land, this would be perfect. But yeah, this is really, really close. I think I would pitch it, but it's really kind of hard on that one. Nykthos, Peter Parker's Camera, Sapphire, Sapphire Medallion, Polywog, Prodigy, Mana Drain, Time Twister, Phyrexia Mana. No second land, so we have nothing really to do unless we draw one. And Nykthos doesn't even get us our colors. Manamo, Sevely Coliseum, Tezzeret, Cygnus Super, Chain of Vapor, Force of Will, Consecrated Sphinx. No third land and no ramp. Gotta go down to 5. This one's kind of tough. I mean, we do have third land with Cygnus Super, but that's not really gonna be able to do anything. Flooded Strand, Sevely Coliseum, Voltaic Key, Soul Ring, Swansong, Phantasmal Image, Force of Will. Yeah, this one's keepable. You keep Flooded Strand, Voltaic Key, Soul Ring, Phantasmal Image, and Swansong. You pitch the Force of Will because the Force of Will just gets rid of a card in your hand to do its thing, and then you don't want to keep a second land in this scenario. Hi. I'm still recording. I just paused because I heard you come in. You can go find yourself some food to eat if you need snack. Well, I want to finish this recording, and I don't like recording in front of people. recording for 30 minutes. Also, my dad has not been quiet, and it's so fucking painful because I ask him every time. I say, "Hey, Dad, like, can you please be quiet?" Like when I'm recording, and he's like just constantly talking in the background. Like he had his phone go off in the middle of the recording. It was super annoying. Like right by my door.
How much longer is 30 minutes? Like what are you at right now?
I'm at 27. No, get her out. Get her out. So with that said, this is going to conclude our Mulligans episode here on the Luck of the Draw podcast. These are the 3 decks that, 2 of them I'm playing, but the other one I've spent a lot of time mastering and trying to get down, being this mono blue Jacob Hawken list. So what do you think about Mulligans? What do you think about cEDH and Mulligans? What do you think about any of the hands that I kept? Would you keep any of the ones that I threw away? I think the one of the Rogsai hands I probably could have kept despite throwing it away. So with this final mulligan, we are going to end our Mulligans episode. We just took a look at the 3 decks, the Burgrid, the Rogsai, and the Jacob Hawken list. Obviously, 2 of them I play in real life and I get to play all the time, but this one, I'm still trying to work on putting together in real life the mono blue list. I love it so much, and I've tried to master it as best as I can. But with that being said, if you want to be in the Discord will be in the description. If you want to be part of the production that goes into these videos, that being the podcasts and the gameplays, if you want to be on any of those, go onto the Discord and hit me up and all the other people who are in there. And if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, because that promotes our channel a little bit better and tells me and all the other people that put work into editing and making these videos that you want to see more of it. So that's going to be all for today. I'll see you next time on the Luck of the Draw podcast.